Right, good evening to all my subscribers. And this video I'm making now is about these small little mini lathes you get. This one of mine, locally they say it's a BL180. If we look at the dimensions there, we can see all the different dimensions. Yeah, it's not a bad lathe. What's actually stupid to me is, if you see there, the spindle taper is Morse taper 3. And then look at the tailstock, Morse taper 2. I think they should have made it both Morse taper 3. But anyhow, I'm going to show a couple of things that I've done to this little lathe of mine. This is the first one I bought about a year and a half ago from our local suppliers. Let's just see if we can focus out a bit. So some of you have asked about this little hand feet I've got here. So the whole region of this one is, I've got a little motor at the back there, a little DC motor, which I somewhere run of home built power supply, which I built many years ago. Unfortunately, the belt for it, which runs from here and it tensions onto this one. This one has got two bearings in onto the motor. It's similar like this, those round ones that you make up. I just can't find where this belt is. But anyhow, so what happens is, let's just put on the power supply. I can run at variable speed. And then also I can reverse it. So the belt runs, which helps a lot with this. If I really want to do something, polish something, then, but I must say, I must use this hand wheel. I use it quite a lot. It's so much easier than to use the hand wheel on this side, because it's close, to this side. So I normally just engage the lead screw lock, and then this is how I use it. You can see there, it's, it makes it much easier, I must say. I use it quite a lot. So to start off with, one of the viewers on Facebook actually asked, how did I connect this onto the lead screw? So what I've done is, on the lead screw I drilled in, and I tapped and I put a stud in there, and then this section here has got threads on, which screw onto this shoulder over here. This section is a press fit into this one. You'll see on that side it's all smooth. There's absolutely no screws or anything there. So this section is a very nice press fit into this section. And that's how it works. And it's very smooth. You can see it runs very nice. So that's how I've done that one. I'm actually going to do the same on my big lathe, which I've already altered. But it's similar to what's going on here. It's like this, and then I drilled in there, and I put a stud in, and that's how I connected that hand wheel, which is this collet over here. That's got thread in, and it screws on there. This is pressed into there, and that's on there. So that's how that works. And it works nice. I put a little tensioner wheel on here, and then obviously the motor at the back, which is a DC motor, 12 to 24 volts. Unfortunately, like I say, I haven't got the correct belt, so I can't show you how it works. Then the second upgrade I've done is, you'll see over here, I've changed those plastic hand wheels. I took those off. I still want to turn this one a new one, like I've done on this one, and I've done on this one. So I still need to do this one, and then I still need to do that one. Next thing I did, obviously we all do it, we replaced the standard tool holder, which is that ugly thing there, and I put this one on. I want to make a new one. This one is aluminium, and I can see already on there it's actually flaring out a little bit. I don't know if you can see it there. So I need to change this one, like I've did on my big lathe. You can see the one video where I made 9 tool holders and the tool posts. So we're gonna do that same here. The next one, what I've done is, inside here I've got bearings, and then also inside here I've got bearings, and then also inside there Right there where it turns, there's bearings inside there, those flat bearings. Let's see if I can take this off, and then I can give you an idea how it looks like. I'm sorry about the terms of all these type of bearings. I'm not too clever with that stuff. But there you can see, that's the type of bearings it is. It's got a shoulder, then a flat bearing section, which then runs inside there. And there's the other half of the bearing. So that same type of bearing I've got there. I've got one there, you can see it. Now those bearings are put in there, so we get a smooth turn. There's no surface on surface grinding there, they're very smooth. You can see on this one, very smooth. You can see on this one, runs very smooth, 2 fingers. So that's the upgrades I've done on that section. Then when we come to the chuck, this chuck at the moment on here is a 4-jaw independent chuck, 100 millimeters. The chuck that was on here was 80 millimeters, which is this one. Well, this is also 100 millimeters. The 80 millimeter chuck, I've actually converted it. Let me show you here. You'll see on one of the videos where I made this boy for my lathe. This is Morse Taper 2, so it does fit on here, also on the small lathe, and it fits on the big one there. So yeah, the 80 millimeter chuck is on here now. So, and then obviously this is my 3-jaw chuck, also 100 millimeters. And the way I've done these ones, I made new backplates which fits over the standard backplate that sits right in there. But to save space between the 2 centers, what I've done is, you can see here, that's how it works on this one. That standard one that's on there slides in here. So when this goes on, it goes over the original backplate, which fits in here, right in there. Let's see if we can get a better picture. So that fits in there. The bore is still 20 millimeters. And then on this side, obviously we got a turn. It's got that little piece that goes into your back, which fits on there. And then it's got standard 3 high-tense bolts. It's got to be the ones with the nuts, which then just goes in there and fastens it there. So I put this onto the lathe, and then I put the chuck on, and I save a bit on space, because yeah, it's quite the distance between the tailstock and the chuck is not that much. This little lathe I only use for brass, copper, aluminium and all the plastics. So yeah, that works very nice. At the moment, like I say, here's the 4-jaw independent chuck on here. Then when you go to the other side, the lead screw engagement arm that someone was asking about, I've added this section in here. It's got a whole plate that goes right in there, and then right at the bottom where it tightens on this slide here, there's a spring washer in there which I just tension up. And then what then happens is I can move this up and down to engage it there. I can just take it off out also, especially when I want to use that, because I don't want to every time engage and disengage, and I don't want this to always turn. So that's the one modification I did in that one, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the big lathe also. Then the power box. What I've done on the power box, the original one is that small little box like everybody's lathe. I took that off, and inside here I've got a 24 volt 12 amp power supply, with also a separate power board inside on top, and there's a fan at the back. You can see there's a fan at the back there. So, and then on over here, on this one I can set the amps, and on this side you can see I can set the volts. I don't know if it's going to show. I normally run it on 25 volts over here. Then over here, that's the separate power board, so you don't lose power. If you just run it off here and you use this volts, you're going to lose torque on the motor. So this stays on full. My amps I've got always full. It normally draws about 6 to 7 amps. But I use this main variable speed with the extra board that's built inside here on top. Then over here I've got the standard forward and reverse switch, my quick emergency stop switch, and you'll see it's going to go off just now. There it goes off. So I've still got my emergency switch. Then we've got for forward, which then also gives me the speed. It's on low range at the moment. At the back it's got a lever for high and low. So on here you can see that's normally about, as soon as I start turning, it drops to about 860, somewhere around there. So I've got variable speed in forward and also in reverse. And then also emergency stops works there. So that's the setup on that side. New chuck, bigger chuck on both sides to 100 millimeters. I've done the hand wheels. I've done the conversion on here. This is just the pickup for the magnet. You'll see there's the pickup right there. And then let's just turn the chuck. And there you can see there's the magnet. So that picks up for my, so I can see my RPM. Then the motor inside, sorry about that, the motor inside used to be this motor, which is a piece of junk. The PC boards that was inside there was a piece of junk. It kept on blowing. So what I've done is I went over to these motors, which comes out of gate motors, a 24 volt system. This one is also a recon. You'll see there's one video where I rebuilt this motor. I've got another motor in there, so this is my spare standby motor. And you can see on the sizes, this motor fits in perfectly in there. All I had to do was drill and tap for those two little screws that mounts inside there. So this is my standby motor, 24 volts. And I've been running this setup now for almost a year, and I've had no problems at all. Absolutely no problems. The original board that was in here, let me see if I can find the box. This is my junk pile. There we go. This used to be the original power board that was on there. You can see that's where the so this is the one I took off, and I replaced it with this one, and I just put the label on that was on that other casing. I just sticked it on here. So this is the setup, PVC plastic. I've done it all. So yeah, that's the upgrades on this one. Any questions, you're welcome to write it in the comments, and then we'll try and do a bit more explaining. So yeah, that's what I've done to my little lathe. And I must say, I had to do quite a lot. I had to grind the beds, these little retainers here at the bottom, those little plates that goes under here. I had to grind those ones. But yeah, overall everything works fine now. I must say it's quite accurate. But yeah, when you buy these small little lathes, you are going to do a lot to get them to work properly. But once you get to that stage where you can start using them, it's very nice. I enjoy it. It's nice and small, it's compact. Does all little aluminium, plastic, nylon work I need to do. And then yeah, one day you'll get to a stage where you got to buy the bigger one for bigger jobs, and there's the big one there. So yeah, that's an update for those of you interested in what I've done with my little lathe. And yeah, you're welcome to comment at the bottom there, and I'll see if I can reply with some answers. Thanks again for watching, and if you don't mind joining the YouTube channel, subscribe there and like the videos I put up. Put some comments and some ideas. I'd love to get some ideas. If you follow the channel, you'll see I'm busy doing some other work. I am busy building a milling machine here out of an old drill press, similar to this one. I've got another milling machine here. This one over here. So for any of you interested in to know what I'm doing on that one, you're welcome, and we can make a detailed video of that one. Thanks again for asking questions, and we'll all wait for your comments.